When someone throws a stone into a lake, what happens? The water ripples. But after a short while, the surface becomes calm again. The question is, do you want to live like the stone, always reacting, heavy and falling? Or do you want to live like the water, able to reflect, to stay clear, to return to stillness? Many people believe that anger is caused by others, that someone made them upset, or that circumstances are to blame. But in reality, nobody has the power to control your inner state unless you hand them the key. Today, I want to share with you how to never again be controlled by someone else's words or actions. How to walk through life without being dragged into anger or irritation, but instead to remain grounded, calm, and free. When we say that you are not your emotions, but the observer of them, it may sound simple, yet it carries great depth. Most people move through life as if their feelings define them. When anger arises, they say, I am angry. When sadness appears, they say, I am sad. In that moment, they merge their identity with the passing emotion. But just as clouds move across the sky, without ever becoming the sky itself, emotions arise and fade without ever being who you truly are. The sky is vast and unchanging, while the clouds come and go. In the same way, your true nature is the one who is aware of emotions, not the emotion itself. Think of it this way: if you sit by a river, you can watch the water flow. You do not become the river simply by observing it. Thoughts and emotions are like the flowing current. They move, sometimes calmly, sometimes violently, but they are always in motion. The one who sits on the bank and observes, that is your awareness. If you remember this, then even when anger or irritation passes through you, you will not drown in it. You remain seated on the shore, watching, allowing it to flow without losing yourself. Many people become enslaved to their emotions because they identify too closely with them. A moment of frustration quickly becomes a fight. A moment of sadness becomes despair. But this happens only because they do not recognize the distance between themselves and the feeling. As soon as you begin to notice that you can observe an emotion, that means you are already separate from it. The observer is never disturbed by what it observes. When you watch fire, you are not burned by it. When you watch the rain, you do not get wet simply from looking. In the same way, when you learn to watch anger within you, it loses its power to consume you. This practice does not mean you suppress emotions or pretend they do not exist. Emotions are natural. To be human is to experience them. What changes is your relationship to them. Instead of saying, I am angry, you can say, I notice anger is present in me. Already, the wording creates space. Instead of, I am sad, you can say, sadness is visiting me right now. Just like a guest, emotions arrive, and then they leave. You are the host. You decide whether to give them all your attention or to simply acknowledge them and let them pass. The more you practice observing, the more power you gain over your inner life. With time, you will notice that emotions still arise, but they do not shake you as before. The waves may be strong, but you have become the ocean that holds them. In this state, you are free because you know that no feeling defines you. You are not anger. You are the one who sees anger. You are not irritation. You are the one who notices irritation. The observer is calm, spacious, and untouchable. And that observer, that is who you truly are. Nobody can disturb your peace unless you give them permission. This is a truth that becomes clearer the more we look into our daily life. Often, people believe that their frustration, their anger, or their irritation comes from others. They say, "He made me upset," or "She ruined my day." But when we speak like this, what we are really saying is that we have given away control of our inner state to someone else. We have handed over the keys to our peace and allowed another person to decide how we feel. Imagine how powerless that makes us to let anyone with a word, a gesture, or even a look control the way our heart beats and the way our mind rests. But the truth is, peace is something that can only be disturbed from within. If a storm rages outside your house, it cannot shake you if your doors and windows are closed. In the same way, no matter how others behave, they can only enter your inner world if you open the door and let them in. It is not their action that creates disturbance. It is your reaction to it, and the reaction is always yours to choose. Consider an example. Two people hear the same insult. One person immediately burns with anger, feels attacked, and lashes out in return. The other hears the same words, but simply smiles, perhaps even feels compassion for the one who spoke them. The words were identical, but the effect was completely different. Why? Because one person gave permission for those words to hurt them, while the other did not. This shows that the source of disturbance is not the external world, but how you decide to receive it. If you rely on others to behave perfectly in order for you to remain calm, then peace will always escape you. People are unpredictable. Some will be rude. Some will misunderstand you. Some will test your patience. If you allow all of these to enter your heart, you will never rest. But if you understand that your peace is your own responsibility, then you will never need to depend on the moods or actions of others again. Peace then becomes a choice you make every moment. The real strength lies in realizing that you can witness someone else's negativity without letting it disturb your stillness. Just as you can hear noise outside without letting it pull you from your meditation, you can observe another's behavior without letting it touch the calmness you carry inside. Their words are like waves crashing on the surface, but deep within, the ocean remains still. When you recognize this, you no longer rush to defend yourself, to fight, or to justify. Instead, you simply rest in the knowledge that their disturbance belongs to them, not to you. This understanding is freedom. It means you no longer walk through life controlled by others. Their moods, their opinions, their words may rise and fall, but they cannot reach the core of who you are unless you open the door and invite them in. And when you stop giving that permission, you discover a peace that cannot be shaken. Reaction is weakness, response is strength. At first glance, these two words, reaction and response, may seem almost the same, but in truth, they come from very different states of mind. A reaction is automatic, impulsive, and often fueled by raw emotion. It is what happens when anger rises and you let it control your actions. A response, on the other hand, comes from awareness, from clarity, from the ability to pause and choose. One is a chain that keeps you bound. The other is freedom that lets you act with wisdom. When you react, you are not truly in control. Something external pulls a string, and you move like a puppet. Someone insults you, and immediately words fly out of your mouth. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and instantly anger takes over your body. In these moments, it is not you who acts. It is your anger acting through you. You have lost the ability to direct your own life because emotion has hijacked the mind. This is why reaction is weakness. It shows that your center is unstable, easily shaken by what happens around you. A response, however, is born from stillness. It is not that you no longer feel the emotion, but you see it clearly before you let it move you. There is a space between stimulus and action, and within that space lies your freedom. Someone may still insult you, but instead of being dragged into their storm, you pause, you breathe, and you decide. Perhaps you answer calmly, perhaps you stay silent, perhaps you walk away. The power is yours because you chose. That choice is strength. Think of a tree in strong wind. A weak tree with shallow roots bends violently. Its branches break, and it may even fall. That is reaction. But a strong tree with deep roots still feels the wind, yet it remains steady. It bends without breaking, and when the storm passes, it still stands tall. That is response. The wind will always come. People will always test you, provoke you, or misunderstand you. But if your roots are deep, you will not fall into weakness. Many people confuse response with suppression. They think strength means holding emotions inside, pretending not to feel them. But suppression is only a delayed reaction. What is hidden will eventually explode. True response is different. It is awareness. You see the emotion, you allow it to exist, but you do not become its slave. You let it move through you like a wave that rises and then falls, while you remain the ocean beneath. Training this ability requires practice. It means slowing down, creating space before you speak or act. It means asking yourself, am I being pulled by emotion, or am I choosing this action with clarity? Over time, the pause becomes natural, and in that pause you discover freedom. To live by reaction is to live in chains, always controlled by what others do. To live by response is to live as a master of yourself, untouchable, strong, and free. Stillness is trained, not gifted. Many people believe that calmness is something you are either born with or not. They say, "I just have a short temper," or "I am not the kind of person who can stay calm." But this way of thinking is an excuse that hides a deeper truth. Stillness is not a natural gift. It is a discipline, just like strength is built in the body through training. Stillness is built in the mind through practice. No one is born with unshakable calm. It is something that is cultivated day after day through patience and awareness. Imagine a pond. If it is constantly stirred, the water will always be muddy, never clear enough to see what lies beneath. But if you stop disturbing it, the particles slowly sink and the water becomes still, reflecting everything with clarity. The mind works in the same way. Most people keep stirring it by chasing distractions, reacting to every word, clinging to every thought. They wonder why peace never comes, yet they never allow the water to settle. Stillness is not the absence of activity in the world, but the choice to stop stirring your own mind. The modern world makes this training even more important. We live surrounded by noise, messages, opinions, demands, and constant stimulation. If you do not train stillness, you will be swept away by it all. Just as the body weakens without exercise, the mind loses clarity without moments of rest. That is why ancient traditions emphasized practices like meditation, breathing, and mindful movement. They are not rituals for the sake of tradition. They are practical methods to train the mind to become still, so it does not shake at every disturbance. Stillness also does not mean passivity. Many people think that being calm means doing nothing, saying nothing, or being indifferent. This is a misunderstanding. Stillness is inner balance. It allows you to act with precision and strength when needed, but without the chaos of uncontrolled emotion. The archer does not shoot while shaking. He breathes, becomes steady, and only then releases the arrow. The same principle applies in life. Without stillness, your actions are scattered. With stillness, they become accurate. Training this quality begins in small ways. It could be a few minutes each morning spent in silence, simply watching the breath. It could be practicing patience in daily situations, like waiting in a long line without agitation. Each moment you resist the pull of restlessness, you strengthen your capacity for calm. Over time, this becomes your natural state. People may shout, situations may become chaotic, but inside, you are steady like a mountain, unmoved by the storm around you. If stillness were a gift, only a few lucky people would ever experience it. But because it is trained, it belongs to anyone willing to cultivate it. The question is not whether you are born calm, but whether you are willing to practice calmness. In this discipline, freedom is found, and once trained, no one can take it away from you. Master yourself, and the world can no longer master you. Most people live under the illusion that control lies outside of them. They believe that if only the circumstances were right, if only others behaved better, if only life were more fair, then peace and happiness would naturally follow. But the truth is the opposite. The world will never shape itself to your wishes. People will not always act kindly. Situations will not always favor you. To wait for the world to align with your desires is to condemn yourself to endless disappointment. The only real mastery you can achieve is mastery over yourself. And once you achieve it, no one and nothing outside can take your freedom away. This mastery begins with awareness. To master yourself does not mean to dominate your feelings or to suppress them. It means to understand them so deeply that they no longer control you. Anger may rise, but you see it before it moves you. Fear may appear, but you do not let it decide your path. Desire may tempt you, but you remain steady in your choice. In this way, you become the master and emotions become visitors who come and go without ruling your house. Without self-mastery, life feels like being a leaf blown by the wind. Every insult pushes you one way, every praise pulls you another. You become unstable, dependent on external conditions. If people treat you well, you feel good. If they treat you poorly, you collapse. This is not freedom. This is slavery to the moods of others. But when you master yourself, you become like the tree with deep roots. Winds may blow, storms may rage, but your foundation is secure. The world may change 1,000 times, but your center remains untouched. True mastery also brings clarity in action. When you no longer act from impulse, your choices carry weight and precision. Instead of wasting energy reacting to every provocation, you conserve your strength for what truly matters. This is why self-mastery has always been considered the highest form of strength. To conquer others may bring temporary victory, but to conquer yourself brings lasting peace. Even the greatest external success means little if inside you are restless, reactive, and fragile. The path to mastery is not found in grand moments, but in small, consistent practices. Each time you choose patience over anger, you strengthen your mastery. Each time you pause before speaking, you deepen it. Each time you hold to your principles, even when tempted, you prove that the world cannot bend you. With each small act, you take back authority over yourself. When you master yourself, insults no longer pierce, failures no longer break you, and success no longer blinds you. You become free from being tossed about by external conditions because your inner world is steady and strong. At that point, the world may still test you, but it can no longer master you. You stand as the true ruler of your own mind. And in that rulership lies the greatest freedom a human being can know.